It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerantz. Thank you so much for joining us again. Our guest is Bob Blumenfield. He's a member of the California State Assembly. He is chair of the Budget Committee. But I want to talk about something separate, although the budget's impacted, and that's high-speed rail. We're all very excited about high-speed rail connecting LA and San Francisco. Yet somehow, some way, the high-speed rail debate is being impacted by World War II and the Holocaust. Explain that.
Well, yes and no. The high-speed rail debate, is moving forward. I'm a big fan of high-speed rail, and I have a legislation, but it will have no impact on the effectively putting high-speed rail in place. What it does have an impact, though, on is Holocaust survivors. Specifically, what the bill does is it says if you were involved in transporting people during the Holocaust to death camps, to concentration camps, and you're applying to be one of the major contractors in the high-speed rail contract, which will be the single largest contract in California state history.
$43 billion, it looks like.
Yes, yeah, for starters, and it'll probably grow from there. That you must disclose your involvement in the past, and you must show what kind of responsibility you've taken.
Is it fair to say that the reason this bill is moving forward is because there's a specific French company named SNCF that appears to have some culpability in terms of transporting Jews to the concentration camps during World War II, and they are applying for a contract?
The bill doesn't specifically mention them, but that company was the reason why I came up with this bill. And in fact, their actions in some ways are the catalyst for my doing this bill, because it came to my attention that there are numerous survivors currently living in California throughout the country who have been trying to get this company to take responsibility for many years.
And they have not.
And they have not. They've used a legal loophole to where many other companies have been able to face the responsibility and deal with it. They've avoided it.
How is the bill doing? Is it moving through the Assembly and the Senate at a nice clip, or are you getting some opposition?
Well, we certainly had some opposition, but we've had our first major hearing was in the Senate Transportation Committee, and I'm proud to say that the bill passed unanimously, 8-0.
Okay. And you're in the Assembly, so that's a good sign that in the Senate it's doing well.
Yes, yes.
Let's shift gears, if we may, and talk about another issue of transportation, and that is mobile billboards. We see them driving up and down the freeway. In a tough economy, maybe it's good to let people make some money, but you have concerns unconnected to economic gain.
Yeah, and the bill that I have is not so much the signs on the freeway. It's the signs you see all over our community, especially in the San Fernando Valley. It's I call it road spam. It's the stuff you see on the internet has crossed through the virtual world into our world, and there are these unhitched trailers.
Oh, I see.
Parked all around the valley advertising, Viagra and massage parlors and all sorts of things.
So your bill doesn't address the cars that are driving on the freeway, it's just those unhitched vehicles?
It's the unhitched vehicles that are a plague to our communities, that they park in front of people's homes, in front of legitimate businesses. What
about Senator Price's bill that would allow advertising on license plates? Have you heard about that bill?
I have. It came through Transportation Committee, of which I'm a member. I could not support it. I have a real problem with that idea. But that's very different than what my bill does. My bill is really dealing with a problem that we're experiencing here in the Valley and throughout Los Angeles.
But let me ask you, with regard to the unhitched billboards or Senator Price's bill, couldn't one argue we are in such economic times and just say, look, if you can't beat them, join them and tax them and bring some money into the
right now
coffers?
These unhitched trailers don't produce a dime for the city or the state or the county other than the registration fee. As I understand, these are hurting real businesses. In other words, you park your unhitched trailer, advertising, hey, buy a used car over at Joe's, and if somebody parks that in front of a dealership or someone who's paying taxes, and it deters real business.
Bob, we thank you for joining us. He is Bob Blumenfield, a member of the California State Assembly. I'm Brad Pomerantz. Thanks for watching Local Edition. Back to HLN.